Your favourite highlight show is back. It's great to have your company for half an hour of the Vanarama National League. And despite only having 15 matches to go, there's not a huge amount of clarity concerning the title, the playoffs, or who's set to slip into the 6th tier. This weekend we're starting in Wales. Wrexham currently have their 5th manager in 2 seasons, as Brian Hughes was given the post on Wednesday, 24 hours after the resignation of Graham Barrow. Hughes' professional playing career lasted 21 years, beginning in the early 90s with the club he's now in charge of.
Exciting times. The team is sitting healthy in the league. It's quite a privileged opportunity for me, really, because when there's changes of managers, usually it's usually when teams aren't doing too well. But the way we are sat in the league at this present time, 4 points off top, it's expectation levels to try and get promotion and out of this league now. So that's only natural. Everyone's going to think that. My job now is to keep the players grounded, try and, like I say, keep building momentum. It's going to be key. 15 games to go. It's about getting enough points on the board to either win the league or finish in the playoffs, and that's going to be the focus going forward now.
The Dragons under Hughes started at home to Dagenham and Redbridge, who were unbeaten in 3. The best chance of the first half fell to the hosts and Bobby Grant, who was denied by the crossbar. On the other side of the interval, Wrexham continued to put pressure on the Daggers. Fullback James Jennings was teed up to go for goal from distance, denied by the alert Elliot Justin. Into the final quarter of an hour, Peter Taylor's keeper was to be involved again, as was Jennings, who this time provided for Luke Young. And after he was kept out on loan from Coventry, Stuart Bevan fired in the rebound. 1-0 to Hughes' Wrexham, who move up to 3rd in the National League.
I thought the substitutions made a real big impact when they came on. Teams are going to come here, they're going to stifle us, they're going to sit behind the ball like Dagenham did today. And we've got to have people ready to come on and make an impact, and that's what happened today.
Mid-table Hartlepool hosted the league leaders in their first match following Richard Money's departure just 44 days after the start of his involvement with the club. His old side hadn't kept a clean sheet at home since October, so it came as little surprise when they fell behind to a deflected shot from Joby McAnuff midway through the first half. But Pauls have had no trouble scoring themselves and found the net for the 13th game in a row when Luke James teed up Nicky Kabamba to equalise in the 4th minute of first half added time. And James was involved again in the second half when the 24-year-old who came through the club as a teenager was brought down by Orient defender Joe Widdowson. But Liam Noble saw his penalty kick smartly saved by Dean Brill to ultimately earn the Londoners a point, as their manager praised the 450 fans who had made the long trip north.
Remarkable, really. I know that the coach has been put on, but they still got to buy their matchday ticket, taking the whole day up. So we've been followed like that all season. It's quite remarkable, and it's a testament to them people. And we applaud them, because without their support we wouldn't be where we were.
This time last year, Solihull Moors were on a precarious 30 points, candidates to drop down from the National League. Now the side from the Midlands not only have a terrific shot at making the playoffs, they're in the mix for the title. Ebbsfleet United stood in the way of being able to get closer to league leaders Leyton Orient. Gary Hill's men had also been in good form of late, but this at a time when Fleet have again publicly addressed financial concerns. In a joint statement, Ebbsfleet's players said they'd only been paid on time once in the past year.
I'm here to run a football team, and that's my job, so I won't be getting drawn in anything like that at all. Come here in November, 4 points off relegation. We're now going into February, 3 points off the playoffs. I'm fully focused now before kick-off to concentrate on the game. Change our style of play a little bit, and the players are bought into that. And I think the results have done the talking. So it's a tough game against Solihull. We're going very, very well, we know that. And it's certainly going to be a big test to us again today, how far we've come.
Moors had won 3 of their last 4, including getting through to the FA Trophy quarter-finals midweek for the first time in their history. After 15 minutes at the Cufflink Stadium, the home team's keeper Nathan Ashmore made a terrific double save to deny Jermaine Hilton and Alex Gudger. Then 6 minutes into the second half, a Darren Carter corner flicked in by Adi Youssef, who's now on to 10 for the season for Solihull. The clash had been a physical one from the beginning, and edging close to full-time, Moors fullback Tyrone Williams ended up on the floor. While he was receiving treatment, there was a brawl involving everyone else, including the two keepers. Referee Peter Gibbons picked out 2 players, showing straight red cards to Ebbsfleet's Bagasan Graham and then Solihull's Luke Maxwell. This was far from the end of the controversy, however, as deep into added time, Dean Rance went down in the visitors' box. No penalty, said Gibbons, and Rance was shown a second yellow for simulation. Fleet were down to 9 men. And it was very soon 9 against 9, following an incident involving Solihull's Danny Wright. After talking with one of his assistants, the referee decided a 4th red was necessary. Losing only one of their last 8 away from the Midlands, Tim Flower's Blues are up to 2nd in the table.
All of a sudden, it was like I was just seeing red all over the place. And when there's melees and all that, and when it's on the other touchline, I can't see who's done what, you know, and everyone claims their innocence. So I'll have to try and dissect it and see what's what. In the end, it became farcical towards the end. But I thought, prior to that, when it was 11v11, I thought we were the better side.
It's very awkward for me being a manager. I used to get a Christmas card years ago every year from the FA, so I'm not going to get involved and give them any money now. You know, so if I make a comment or anything out the walls, I get a ban. But I would think that he'd probably be refereeing somewhere next week, and he'll go out there and do his best again. So that's all we can say.
Braintree's return to the National League hasn't gone to plan. Bottom of the division and 11 points from safety, all before they welcomed high-flying Salford to Cressing Road. The visitors looking to apply pressure on leaders Leyton Orient and couldn't have come much closer, with Rory Gaffney heading against the bar in the second half. Braintree did thrash Barnet in their previous home fixture, just their second home win of the league season. Debutant Corey Henry spurning a chance to open the scoring on this occasion. Salford hadn't gone consecutive matches without finding the net for almost 5 years, yet the hosts looked the more dangerous. Chris Neal keeping out a fine effort from Cameron James. Nevertheless, it wasn't the visitors' day. Instead, deep into added time, teenager Callum Morton left Braintree fans still hoping of a great escape.
I don't think anything will be done today. If we'd have got beat, we wouldn't be relegated, and because we've won, we're not going to be safe. So, but some people will say it's a bonus 3 points because they wouldn't have expected us to get anything today. But the belief in the dressing room is whoever we play, we're capable of getting 3 points. So it's a big win, it's an important win, and it's 3 points towards our target.
Maidstone United had won only one of their 15 home matches this season. In midweek, visitors Fylde were involved in a belting game in the FA Trophy, drawing 5-5 with Ramsbottom United. Close to the half-hour mark in Kent, Dave Challoner's men countered on the Stones' 3G surface, led by Ashley Hemmings. A Dan Bradley cross was then turned into his own net by the hosts, Aaron Davies. After the goal was originally ruled out for offside by one of the referee's assistants, Carl Brook declared he was satisfied Danny Rowe wasn't interfering with play. 1-0 to Fylde. Then on the hour mark at the Gallagher Stadium, Maidstone were to equalise in very similar circumstances. Dan Wishart played in Jake Robinson, whose goal-bound attempt was forced over the line by Danny Philliskirk, another own goal, and with a 1-1 finish, a point apiece.
Dover Athletic and Harrogate Town met for the second time in a month, following a 2-1 victory for the Yorkshire side in the FA Trophy second-round fixture in mid-January. And it took them just 6 minutes to have the advantage this time round. Mark Beck in the right place to find the net for consecutive matches. And that was how the score stayed until the 79th minute, when Jamie Allen profited from a Mitch Brundle long throw into the penalty area. A goal which would be the start of a crazy finish to the contest. Barely a couple of minutes later, another long throw in from Captain Brundle, and after Town again struggled to clear, Jai Reason finished beautifully from the edge of the box. But following that quick-fire turnaround, it took the visitors only 3 further minutes to respond. Substitute Aaron Williams providing the cross for Beck to grab his second. After a nightmare start to the season, Dover had experienced a good run of form that threatened to move them away from danger. But following last weekend's late home defeat to Gateshead, they were denied once more at the death. George Thompson with a devastating 92nd minute winner to move Harrogate back into the playoff places.
It looked like we'd thrown the game away. I mean, to their credit, Dover did turn it around, and we're in the ascendancy, and look, good value for that win with 5 minutes to go. But we turned it around, and we've got to take the obvious positives of that. You know, coming a long way from home and finding a way to win.
You know, we've got to take our chances. You know, it's all right saying about our defending, but in both boxes today we wasn't good enough. We've got to take our chances. We got the goal. We should have gone on 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 goals, shouldn't we?
The Bees' FA Cup dream came to an end last week, but they left behind some magnificent memories, knocking out Sheffield United of the Championship and forcing Brentford to a 4th round replay with a sparkling Dan Sparks free kick, part of a scintillating 3-3 draw. The other Bees, Brentford, eventually went through to round 5 as 3-1 winners. Darren Curry's start at the Hives not all been positive. Barnet were battered last month 4-0 by Braintree, and in the FA Trophy require a replay to get by 7th tier Carl Shorten. Sutton United went from South to North London for what was the first league meeting between these two. On the road, the visitors had lost their previous 2. Not long to go before the break, James Dobson stepped up brilliantly, getting the better of Mark Cousins and scoring for the first time since a transfer last month from Slough. Barnet are among the lowest scorers in the 5th tier. Into the second half, Che Alexander, despite having time and space, was unable to find the target. Then from a corner for the home side, eventually Andre Boucard had an opportunity, which was also missed. The Trinidad and Tobago international got involved in another move from a corner, but in goal for Sutton, Ross Warner was up to the task, ensuring Paul Doswell's men have now won 6 of their last 8.
Just got to be more ruthless and more cutthroat in the final third, and you know, could have got a point, could have maybe even gone on to win the game, but we haven't done enough in front of goal to take any points from the game, which is very frustrating.
If it was a boxing match, we'd have lost, and I think the referee would have stopped it. I don't think he'd have gone the points. But that's the thing with football. You know, you can win a game in a different way, and today we just showed a resilience and a desire not to get beat.
A Hampshire derby for the fans to enjoy, though there hasn't been much to shout about for the supporters of Aldershot, who came into this contest on the back of a club record 15 matches without a win in all competitions. And they didn't make it to half-time without falling behind. Eastleigh top scorer Paul McCallum dispossessing Alex Finney and turning provider for Danny Hollands to score his first goal for the club. The Shots had failed to score in their previous 5 home matches, but at least they ended that damning statistic once Bernard Mensah had levelled just before the hour mark. However, it only served to delay the inevitable, as 13 minutes later McCallum finished well for his 16th of the campaign. And the South Londoner, enjoying a career-best season, picked up his 2nd of the match just 2 minutes later, putting the game beyond Aldershot and keeping Eastleigh in the hunt for the playoffs.
For a large spell, Aldershot played some good stuff, you know, and they caused problems with their movement of their front 4 players, and you know, we had to dig in and sort of, you know, keep a good shape. And when the moments come, you know, we was quite clinical with our chances we had.
Stay strong, be mentally strong, and find a win from somewhere. And the only way you do that is cutting the mistakes out and trying to play, you know, well. But I'd take a performance where we were absolutely hopeless to get 3 points and a win.
I think, you know, it was a hard game against a good side and against a manager we've got a lot of respect for, so it's a big derby win for us and big 3 points.
There was respect shown on Saturday for former Barrow goalkeeping coach Mick Holgate, who also played for Macclesfield. In 7 league clashes, Bromley had never lost against the Bluebirds. After a quarter of an hour at Holker Street, it took 2 attempts for Dior Angus to open the scoring. It's the Port Vale loanee's first goal for Ian Evert's team. Barrow had begun the game without finding the net in their previous 4 and before the interval tried unsuccessfully to double their advantage. Then moments after the restart, JJ Hooper was played in for the visitors and despite the efforts of Joel Dixon was ruled to have equalised. 1-1 it finished. Barrow and Bromley are just a point apart from one another in mid-table.
Recent draw specialists Halifax travelled to Chesterfield with both sides desperate for more points to move them away from trouble. The visitors had come away with a share of the spoils in their previous 5 matches, and the previous meeting back in October, unsurprisingly, ended a point apiece. Matty Coslow going close with a free kick on this occasion. At the other end, Ellis Chapman swung in a set piece that found the head of Hayden Hollis, with a save made by Sam Johnson. The Halifax goalkeeper was called upon again in the first half, just about keeping out Lee Shaw. All this before an old friend decided the contest after the break. At the end of last month, Scott Bowden left Gateshead to return to Chesterfield, the club he left in 2013. After being fouled in the box, the ex-Halifax striker stepped up to convert the resulting penalty, his first for the Spireites since an FA Cup win over Hartlepool way back in November 2012. And Chesterfield out of the relegation zone for the first time in 2019.
Boreham Wood's away form wasn't good. They'd failed to win in their previous 11, but struggling hosts Maidenhead United had lost all but 2 of their last 9 in Berkshire. On a weathered playing surface, Harold Odomati ran at Wood, providing for Adrian Clifton, who failed to net. Then Clifton's fellow Montserrat international James Comley found Alfie Kilgore, who got the best out of George Legg. On the other side of half-time, Clifton teed up James Akintundi and the unmarked sub made no mistake, making it 1-0 to the Magpies. Moments before the end, victory for Alan Devonshire's men was soured slightly as a challenge on Kieran Murtagh by Odomati resulted in a sending off. Red card aside, Maidenhead are now a point clear of the drop zone.
Going into the second half, I think we dominated. I think we created numerous chances, balls off the line, and great saves. I think we up hit the post as well. No, I'm delighted. I'm so happy to be honest.
Just the 700-mile round trip for Haventon Waterlooville as they faced a Gateshead side who, though very much in the playoff mix, had picked up just 1 win in 7 matches. Hoping to end that disappointing run, the Heed took the early initiative, Robbie Tinkler fashioning a shot, comfortably dealt with by Ben Dudzinski. The Hawks were champions of the National League South last season, but have found themselves dragged into a relegation battle this campaign. But 7 points from their previous 3 matches have certainly helped, though Wes Fogden couldn't help the ball past Ainsley Pears. In the second half, another chance for the visitors. Substitute Hassan Jallow combining with Joe Quigley, though the latter failed to get the better of the Gateshead goalkeeper. Ultimately, it was the home fans who were left frustrated, with Stephen Rigg unable to add a decisive touch. A small blow for Gateshead in their quest for promotion, and another important point that made the long journey worth it for Havant.
I was pleased with the performance. I thought we played well for large part of the games, up to a certain point, I think into the final third, where we didn't really create a lot of chances. I must credit Paisley. I think Paisley made two good saves in the game.
We started the show none the wiser when it comes to who'll win the league, and with only a point in it, it's all right to say a number of teams may be lifting the trophy come April. Brian Hughes' Wrexham reigns off to the perfect start. It's now 11 years the Dragons have been out of the EFL though. Salford City meanwhile dropped to 5th after a sucker punch at Cressing Road. No wins in 3 games for the Beckham-backed side. Meanwhile, there's only 9 points separating 1st to 9th. That win for Braintree doesn't lift them off the foot of the table, but 3 wins and only 2 defeats in their last 6 have given them hope of survival. Chesterfield are out of the bottom 4 on goal difference after their win over Halifax, and Maidenhead were only the 3rd team in the wrong half to win at the weekend. The FA Cup 5th round's coming up next weekend, and on BT Sport we've got 4 live games in 3 days. First up, a London derby. In-form Watford are away to Steve McLaren's Queen's Park Rangers, who were involved in a 4-all thriller with Birmingham on Saturday. Watford QPR gets started at 7:15 on Friday. The day after, Frank Lampard takes his Derby County team to the Amex to face Brighton, who needed a replay to defeat West Brom in round 4. Coverage begins at midday. Later on Saturday, we're in South Wales, and Manchester City are next for Newport County, who have already defeated Leicester and Middlesbrough in the Cup. This one's on air from 5 p.m. And on Sunday from 12:30, Bristol City take on Wolves, who are flying this season in the Premier League. All 4 fixtures are live and exclusive on BT Sport 2 and 4K UHD. From all of the BT Sport National League team, thank you for watching. We'll leave you with the best goals of the weekend in the 5th tier.